Hello everyone, welcome back to another Transformers review. Today we are taking a look at the Netflix Maximal Cheetor from the War for Cybertron trilogy. Now it doesn't specifically say Kingdom, but this is pretty much just a repaint of the Kingdom Cheetor. This one is a Walmart exclusive in the US of A, and this was the first Cheetor I was able to get my hands on. I have seen the other one once or twice, but I passed on them. But when I finally did want a Cheetor, as I've kind of begun collecting the Season 1 Maximals from Kingdom, I was kind of like, crap, I need a Cheetor, and for a hot minute, all the Cheetors tended to disappear, but when I went to my local Walmart today, I found this guy, and I'm excited to get into this. So anyways, let's take a look at his packaging, as this is different from Kingdom. As the window is a bit bigger, it doesn't say Kingdom. It's very white. Almost makes it feel like it's a bit more of a premium thing. On this side, we've got a grayed out version of Cheetor's Beast Mode. I believe it's the Beast Mode artwork from his Kingdom box. Then we've got a kind of tribal Maximal logo. On this side, we've got a black, gray, white, and red version of the Kingdom artwork, which I have shown multiple times. In fact, actually, in case this is your first video of mine, let me pause the video real quick and get a regular Kingdom figure, or a regular Kingdom figures box. Alright, here I've got the box to my previously reviewed Air Razor, and this will just give you a much easier comparison to the differences. Say, one thing I didn't notice until now is that the Netflix one cuts off, but it is pretty much the same size, so I'll move this off to the side and bring it over to the bottom, not much, bring it to the top, not much. Then we've got the back, which says his name, says Transform More Than Meets the Eye, says the steps, and has CG renders, which these CG renders are clearly prototype ones, and I don't even have to take a look at the figure inside, just because of the cheetah's eyes, as on these renders, they're orange, but on this version of the figure, they are green, which I'm not mad about. I'll have to show that a little closer. But I honestly do prefer him having the green eyes. I don't know what it is. But yeah. That is it for the packaging, so I'm going to take this fella out of the packaging, then we are going to go from there. See you guys in a second. Alrighty, here we have the figure all transformed and out of the packaging. And I will say that I like him so far. I will say there's a bit of a warning, and I'll go over it a bit more in the transformation, but here I'm not sure if when transforming it I did something wrong, but I do feel that is a very easy breakage point, but I'll get to that when we get to that a bit further. But for now, let's talk about the Beast Mode. This, in my personal opinion, very much looks like a cheetah, and even more so for this version because he doesn't have any of the blue that the Kingdom version of this figure had. So cheetah mode is almost perfect, save for the robot hand kibble at the bottom. And let me see if I can't bring this in a bit more. Yeah, these are the green's eyes I was talking about for cheetah mode that I was much rather having on the figure over the orange eyes. I will most likely be keeping this figure in robot mode, but I just like the way the green eyes look. Now, I don't have that one to compare, but this one is a much more orangey or almost golden yellow compared to that one, as that one is a very bright yellow. I don't really have much else to say about that, but this is a neat figure as it has very unique articulation in both modes, as all the articulation in one mode really isn't used in the other, save for a bit of the legs, but even the legs are still different. So starting at the head, there is an opening and closing jaw, which is neat. You could probably have him like heavily breathing or panting after running, having him shut his yap. I feel like there could have been a swivel here where this cut is, but the head is stuck. At the front legs, it can go 360 or you could swivel it. There is a ball joint, so you can get a partial swivel. You cannot go all the way. He's got a hinge, so he can do a little bit of movement. Not very much in either direction, but it is enough. Then we've got a ball joint at the bottom of the foot, which can go very far back and pretty far forward. Minimal tilt, but every ball joint can be a swivel. Then we move on to the back, which kind of carries over some of the robot mode articulation, but it's not too much. So you got swivels here, can move back. Then you've got reverse knee, and then the same kind of ball joint as the front. So yeah, that is Cheetah mode. Now it's time to get him to transform, or as the Beast Warriors do it, this guy's team specifically, maximize. I'm going to start off by this might be a bit dangerous, but I want to something cool that some fans have noticed that may foretell a future retool. These parts come up, and his weapon also signifies it, because these parts on the original Transmetals Cheetor used to come up for his jets, and he had a tail whip much like this one, which I'll now move that off to the side and continue transforming him. Just because I feel it's easier, I will start off by transforming his legs, which you do that by bringing up his beast mode legs all the way and bringing out the feet. Next up, I'm going to say bring out these arms, and next it should just be splitting this, which now we can kind of butts everything through. Try our best to get the Cheetor X in the back. Straighten out the arms. And we got to make sure the mouth for beast mode is wide open. Then we'll bring this down, which this tab and both these are very stressed. Oh wait, no, that tab's just straight up broken. That's just pretty much right out of the box. I don't know if it's just weak plastic or what, but do be careful about that. And this next part's kind of weird, as you gotta hinge this down and make sure that this goes into that. Oh, let me do that again. Point this out. This big old peg will go into this hole in the upper mouth, which will then close it, making the cheetah face look like it's closed, which is kind of neat. Then we'll just squeeze in these outer panels, then flip around Cheetor's head, and here he is in robot mode. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit. And overall, I gotta say, I do like this Cheetor in robot mode. I guess I'll give him his weapon. I'll have him hold it like this just because that'll make this seem a bit more weaponry-like rather than it being a whip. Now, starting off with my thoughts on the paint job, or I guess plastic colors used, as this thing has a little less paint, which I will get into that. I do wish that they kept the blue paint at the bottom of the feet or lower legs, just because that's part of Cheetor's design. Maybe have a little bit more of the blue on his forearms, like the original Beast Wars character model. Maybe splash in a little bit of more proper gold, if not blue, which would give Cheetor a nice third color. And the metallic blue plastic and paint match up pretty well, and they look very nice. But I will also say that I'm kind of disappointed that a whip slash axe is the only weapon he gets. The only reason why I would say this would be a good thing is this, if this is pretty much a hint that we're going to be getting the trans metals, which would be nice, but I'm not sure if Hasbro will put chrome on them, which, if they do trans metals and they do chrome them up, sign me right up. This figure would be an awesome retool for a trans metal. But anyway, I'll take his one accessory, bring it off to the side, and we can move up close to the face. So you can see that. I will say that most definitely looks like Cheetor. He's even got his little maximal symbol. His eyes in robot mode are orange, while these are still green because it's the limits of the figure. Not a big deal to me. I say that makes it stand out a little more. Makes the robot mode eyes look more like robot mode eyes rather than having the same color eyes on the cheetah. Then a couple other details is he's got the circles in the back, although they aren't polygonal, they are perfectly spherical, which in my personal opinion isn't too much of a big deal. They're probably going to be hidden based on how this guy is, which I'm going to say that if you want those shown as much as possible, you're going to have your figure looking like this, because no matter how much you splay these back, if you have his arms like this, you're going to be barely seeing the circles, which isn't too big of a deal. But anyway, articulation, starting from the head down. Head can look pretty far up, which would be nice if he came with any of his guns. Can look down that far, so pretty much just head on. Can kind of rotate 360, but you kind of have to lift it. Can kind of swivel it. As I've already shown off, he's got butterflies that go that far forward. It can only go as far back as this will allow him. It can go all the way up, but not 360 because, again, hindered. He's got a really good hinge that goes all the way up. A swivel at the upper bicep. More than 90 degrees bend, which is pretty nice. I mean, I know a lot of figures like Marvel Legends and stuff have more than that, but this is a Transformer. And for some reason, aside from Marvel Legends, Hasbro likes giving things only one joint at the arms and legs. Then he's got a swivel at the hand, and he does have a swivel at the waist. I know that's another joint that Hasbro will lack out on for things like Transformers on occasion. This thing can flip up, but I don't really know why, as you can pretty much get the same articulation with it staying there, but it moves. So with the legs, it goes that far forward with the thing being stationary, and if you move it up a little bit more, it'll move up a bit, and the leg will do pretty much a 90 degrees. And then it is hindered by the back by this little flap. He's got pretty good splits, but I'm not sure if I'm going to want to keep doing that, as this leg keeps on forcing itself back down. He's got an upper thigh swivel. A little less than 90, but still good enough. And I guess if you wanted, you could have him breaking his legs. And then he's got ankles that go back that far and up that far, which I'm pretty sure that's more due to transformation. And he can pretty much scoot his legs out as far as need be. Now, I guess one thing that you can also do with this, which I would say is a Beast Machines reference, which kind of weird how Cheetor of all the figures has a ton of references. But anyway, so what you can do is bring out his beast mode legs, and now he's got much taller legs, much like Beast Machines Cheetor, who had really long legs. And yeah, I'm pretty much gonna get this figure resituated, and I'll give my final thoughts. Alrighty, so my overall thoughts on this guy. I will say I like him. He is a tad bit different from the original Cheetor, but he is enough Cheetor for me to say that he is indeed Cheetor. That was a lot of Cheetors. But another thing with this figure is, this isn't the original release. This is the Walmart exclusive Netflix release, which I do like this paint job, but It's also an exclusive, and a fairly recent exclusive compared to the original release, so a lot of people might have problems with that. I'd say if you had the original Cheetor, stick with that, but if you absolutely must have a Cheetor with the darker blue and a slightly darker yellow, then go ahead and pick this up. It is hitting Walmarts, as I said earlier. This is a Walmart exclusive, and yeah, I like them, and I hope you do too, and I cannot wait to see you all next time.